The first time Elena called me dear instead of love, the word landed like a pebble in still water, small, ordinary, but the ripples kept spreading until I couldn't sleep. We had been married 12 years, and every morning for the last 10 she had kissed my cheek and murmured, "Good morning, love." The same way she had the day we moved into the little blue house on Maple. That Tuesday, though, she was already at the kitchen island, scrolling on her phone, coffee cooling beside her. I leaned in for the kiss. She tilted her head, offered the top of her hair and said, "Morning, dear. Traffic's murder, leave early." The endearment felt borrowed from a stranger, and the day tilted. I told myself it was nothing. People changed nicknames. Maybe love sounded childish now that she was 42 and senior partner at the firm. Still, the pebble sat in my chest. By Friday she had said it again. "Pass the salt, dear." And I caught myself staring at the salt shaker like it had betrayed me. That night I lay awake listening to her breathe, steady and even, while my pulse hammered against the mattress. At 2:17 a.m., I slipped out of bed, found her phone on the nightstand, and thumbed the screen awake. The lock code was still our wedding date. A single text glowed. "Marcus. Can't wait for tomorrow. Wear the red." No context, no emoji, just those 8 words burning into my retinas. I didn't sleep again. At dawn I kissed her forehead careful like she was made of glass, and told her I had an early consult. Instead I drove to the diner on 9th, ordered coffee I didn't drink, and Googled private investigators. Harlan Reed's ad was the third result. Discretion guaranteed. No judgment. His office smelled of burnt Folgers and lemon polish. He listened without blinking while I recited the texts, the dears, the red dress I'd never seen. When I finished, my voice cracked on the fee, $3,000 up front. Harlan slid the contract across the desk. "Sign here, Mr. Callahan. We'll know by Monday." Monday took 4 years to arrive. Elena left for work in the red dress. I watched from the window as she backed the Audi down the drive, taillights winking like they were in on the joke. Harlan texted at 3:42 p.m. "Photos attached. Call when you can." I pulled over on a side street, hands shaking so hard the phone blurred. The first image, Elena and a man, Marcus I assumed, walking into the Meridian Hotel. Second, them in the lobby, his hand low on her waist. Third, the elevator, her head on his shoulder. The last was a grainy still from the hallway camera. Room 1218, door closing behind them. Timestamp, 14:07. Checkout, 17:51. I drove home on autopilot. The house felt larger, every corner echoing with her absence. I poured whiskey but didn't drink it. Instead I sat on the floor of our closet and pulled down the box of love letters she'd written during my residency, when I worked 80-hour weeks and she mailed me pressed violets. "You're my home, love. Always." The paper smelled like her old perfume. I cried without sound, shoulders shaking, until the violets crumbled between my fingers. Harlan called at 9. "You want the full report tonight or tomorrow?" "Tonight," I croaked. He arrived with a manila envelope and a face carved from granite. Inside, more photos, hotel receipts, a second phone bill in her name I'd never seen. Marcus was her colleague, 38, divorced, no kids. They'd been meeting twice a week since April. Harlan's voice stayed level. "She's careful. Deletes texts, uses a burner app. But not careful enough." I asked the question I hated myself for. "Do they say they love each other?" Harlan hesitated. "In the car, yeah. Once. She said it first." The room spun. I thanked him, paid the balance, and asked him to leave before I shattered completely. Then I did the thing I swore I'd never do. I waited up like a cliché. Elena came in at 11:47, heels in hand, hair tousled in a way that used to mean wind from the convertible but now meant hotel pillows. She startled when she saw me on the couch, glass in hand. "Christ, Nick, you scared me." She laughed, but it wobbled. "Couldn't sleep." "Couldn't," I said. My voice sounded like gravel. She crossed to the kitchen, poured water back to me. "Everything okay?" I pulled the envelope from beside the couch and slid it across the coffee table. "Open it." Her fingers froze on the glass. Slowly she set it down, lifted the flap. The photos spilled like playing cards. She aged 10 years in 10 seconds. When she looked up, her eyes were wet but defiant. "Nick." "Don't," I said. "Just tell me why." She sank onto the ottoman, knees together like a schoolgirl. I don't know why, she whispered. I kept thinking it would burn out. That I'd wake up and want you again the way I used to. Again. The word cracked. She flinched. I love you, Nick. But it's a quiet love. Safe. Marcus. He looks at me like I'm 25 and the world is still on fire. I laughed, a sound like breaking ice. And I don't. You look at me like I'm the mortgage. Like I'm the grocery list. I wanted to scream that I looked at her like oxygen, but the photos stared up from the table, obscene evidence that words were useless now. We sat in the wreckage until the clock chimed 1. Finally she said, "What happens next?" I thought of the violets, the red dress, the word dear echoing like a slammed door. You pack a bag, I said. You leave tonight. Tomorrow we call lawyers. She started to protest, then saw my face and stopped. Upstairs, drawers opened and closed with the soft finality of coffin lids. I stayed on the couch, counting heartbeats. When she came down with the suitcase, she paused at the door. I'm sorry, love, she said. The old word hung between us, fragile as the violets. Then she stepped into the night, and the door clicked shut. I didn't move until sunrise painted the walls gold. Somewhere in the quiet, the pebble finally sank, leaving only the ache of deep water. I picked up my phone, deleted Harlan's number, and started a new text to my sister. Can I come stay for a while? Send. The screen went dark. Outside, the maple tree dropped its first red leaf of autumn, spinning down like a warning I was too late to heed.